Hello friends, I'm Dr. N.K. Pawar. I'm going to explain and teach you the subject electronics for SYBSc course. The, it is for semester first and paper second. So in this course, the syllabus is as follows. That is first chapter, it is network theorems. Chapter second, it is study of transistors and related circuitries. Chapter third is amplifier and applications, operational amplifier and applications. And chapter 4 is number system and logic gates. So friends, we know that we are going to consider today the first chapter, that is a network theorems. Under network theorems, we are going to see Ohm's law, then Kirchhoff's laws related to voltage and current, thereafter voltage divider theorem, then current divider theorem, superposition theorem, Thevenin's theorem, and Norton's theorem. This is what we are going to consider under the chapter network theorems. So learning outcomes of this lecture is students will understand that the concept of voltage, potential difference, and electromotive force. So what exactly the meaning of voltage, potential difference, and electromotive force will be understood. Then how battery works as voltage source. Then student will understand how voltage makes charge flow in the circuit. Then what is meant by current, that is how it is a rate of flow of charge, and why the charges flow in the circuit when voltage is applied. Then what is meant by resistor and how it can be used to control current flow in the circuit. Then the first theorem, what is Ohm's law. Then student will understand why in series resistors effective resistance increases, whereas in parallel resistors why effective resistance decreases, and what is meant by open circuit and short circuit. So these are the concepts which we are going to consider, and after completing this lecture the student will be able to understand these things. Thereafter, what is KCL and KVL, Kirchhoff's voltage law and Kirchhoff's current law. So friends, we are concentrating on our chapter. So see, here it is, we are talking about the electrical network. So what is meant by electrical network? It is just a combination of various electronic components such as resistors, which opposes the flow of current or flow of charges, capacitors, these are the device which stores charges, so inductors, these are the devices which induces an EMF in the circuit, and diodes, that is a unidirectional devices. Thereafter transistor, these are three terminal devices whose resistance can be varied by changing the voltage, and integrated circuits. So here it is a combination of all these kind of components interconnected in all sort of manner. So here when we talk about resistance, here in figure it is shown that these are the resistance component which you actually are going to use in laboratory. So these are resistance where color strips are there. These are capacitor, that is ceramic capacitor, electrolytic capacitor. So this is diode, this is three terminal device, that is a transistor, and this is integrated circuit. So such kind of components actually interconnected to form a electrical network, and that we are going to see. So see what is electrical network. So here the electrical network is shown. So see, before studying we should understand a basic component which we are going to use for study is a resistance. So whenever we connect battery, that is a voltage source, to resistance, then due to this battery the current will flow in the circuit, that is I, and it will pass through this resistance R, which is measured in terms of ohm, and finally if the circuit is completed the current will flow. So now here many times we see that a current meter, that is milliammeter, micrometer, etc., it is connected in the circuit to measure the current. So here we see that in this circuit only one resistance is used. But if you see here what we observe in this network, so these are points. See, this is A point, this is B point, C point and D point. So between A and B we see there it is one voltage source, one resistance. Between these 2 points there it is another voltage source having voltage V2 and resistance R2. Here it is one capacitor. This is again another resistor between these points, and here we get one resistance. So see carefully that at this point the circuit may be extended to other branches. So this kind of thing is basically an electrical network, and we are going to see how exactly it is working in this chapter. So see, voltage across any component or current passing through can be calculated by Ohm's law and Kirchhoff's law. So in this network theorem chapter we are going to see different laws or different theorems. So they are actually used for understanding the behavior and functioning of the circuit. So the basic law which we are going to start is Ohm's law and later on Kirchhoff's laws. So in case of complex circuits, laborious and intrinsic calculations are required, and so various network theorems have been developed. So here we see that this is a circuit which consists of only one resistance and one voltage source. So it is easy to calculate how much current is flowing through these, through say Ohm's law. But if we consider that there are large number of resistance in the circuit like this, suppose this is the circuit in which say there it is another battery. So here I've shown only 3 resistors, but the circuit may consist of number of resistors, capacitors, etc. And when we want to study how much current is flowing through each component, how much voltage is provided by the battery, and what are the potential difference across all resistors, we need to understand the network theorems, and that is why for complex circuit it is necessary. And using these network theorems, complex circuitry can be turned into a simple circuitry. So here I've shown you a electrical circuit. It is basically a part of a printed circuit board on which you see that lot of components are there, but here we see these are capacitors. So very small, say somewhere here it is integrated circuits are there, some transistors are there. So in fact the circuit can be a very complex. So in order to study these kind of circuits, the knowledge of network theorems is most important. So now we know the Ohm's law, as you are aware, but we'll start from basic. So see, here it is, in every circuit there it is a battery, potential source is must, voltage source, and if we connect any resistance to the circuit, then whatever amount of current flows through it, that is relation is this is a voltage, this is a resistance, unit is ohm, current in amperes, and voltage in volts. So relation is V is equal to I into R. This is basically a Ohm's law. So now this V, actually we are terming it as the potential difference across the component. So this is component, say this is A terminal, this is B terminal. So by applying the voltage source of certain voltage, let us consider V is equal to suppose 10 volt. How much voltage difference or potential will be across this resistance R1? So that depends on the current flowing through this resistance and given by V is equal to IR. So that means voltage is directly proportional to the current. That is important thing. And proportionality constant is resistance R. So R is a resistance of the resistor in the circuit. So that we see. So here you can easily observe that voltage can be either a potential difference or electromotive force also, but here we are going to consider potential difference. So here in this circuit you see that this is a battery, this is positive terminal of battery, this is negative terminal of battery, and the wire is connected to this resistance R. Then another terminal is connected to ammeter and another terminal of ammeter is connected to battery negative. This way the circuit can be completed. Now when we connect this switch, the current will start to flow through this resistance. So here it is battery positive, this is battery negative, this is resistance milliammeter, and once the switch is connected you see that the current is passing through this resistance. So that current and this voltage relation is that what I've shown is that is V is equal to I into R. Here this milliammeter is measuring the current and here the voltmeter connected across A and B across resistor, actually it is measuring this voltage. Now when we connect this voltage you will see that the product of current I and R gives the potential difference across this resistance. Now important thing to note that whenever we are going to study the electrical circuit, remember that the conventional current direction which we are considering is always from battery positive to battery negative. That means in this case it is in a clockwise direction. That is a conventional current direction that you should know. So that means, see, one simple concept, the current starts from positive terminal, it enters the electrical components which are connected in the circuit, and after that it enters negative terminal. Remember that it never goes from directly positive terminal to negative terminal, that means in anti-clockwise direction. So here we see that this is here battery negative terminal is shown, and we are going to understand the concept of battery negative terminal as well as positive terminal. So here it is a positive terminal. Now I am going to connect the connectors to this resistance. Now this resistance is connected to the ammeter, and then another end of ammeter is connected to battery negative. Now thing is that here I have shown that battery negative is a source of charges. So understand that this is battery negative, this is battery positive, and it is shown that the number of electrons are deposited, negative charges are deposited on negative terminal of the battery. And we know that as negative terminals or electrons are repelling each other, so current starts to flow. So here observe carefully that electrons are repelling each other and they are flowing through conductor and passing through resistance comes to positive terminal. So the procedure is continuously going on. So here remember that the electrons are flowing actually in the circuit from negative terminal to positive terminal. So this is called a field direction. That means here in this field direction is from negative terminal to positive terminal. That means actually electrons in the circuit are flowing through wire from negative terminal to positive terminal. But this ammeter is actually measuring current. So this current, so what that current conventionally, always remember, though electrons are flowing from negative to positive, current is in opposite direction. So here conventional current is shown here from positive to negative terminal. So here this is a conventional current direction, so that you always remember. Now important thing is that when this negative terminal contains large number of electrons in the battery, but we know that electrons repel each other, then how come they are together in the battery? And that is basically idea of voltage. So see, we are going to see what is voltage now. So see friends, here I have shown you two magnets, and that we know. Here it is, suppose N pole, and here it is also another N pole. So obviously if you see, similar poles are actually repelling each other. That is a natural phenomenon, and that we know. But like poles of the magnet repel each other, but what if we reverse the thing? That means now unlike poles are towards each other, so you will see that unlike poles attract each other, they come closer. So this is a natural phenomena. This kind of magnetic force is available in the universe naturally. So same is true for electrical charges also. Let us consider these are two electrons. So electron repulsion is there, and so we find that when two electrons are there, they apply force on one another and they go away from each other, they repel each other. But suppose here we consider a positive charge and negative charge. So unlike charges, actually they are attracting, and as this is a natural phenomena, and this is a basic idea for understanding the concept of voltage. So obviously then, if this is an electron, if I keep another electron here, we know that this electron will move and go away from first electron. So when it moves from one electron, so what is the thing which brings this electron close to this? So in order to move any mass, we need to apply certain force which provides energy. So let us consider what is exactly the concept of voltage. So it is a very common thing that we all know. Suppose if there it is any body, and if we want to move it from one place to another place, we need to apply certain force, and for that energy is needed. So that is important thing we should understand. So in case of magnet, we saw that the N pole is repelled by another N pole. It is due to magnetic field or magnetic force. So similar case is there. In case of electrons, let us consider it is a minus q charge. This is a electron, and another electron is at this place, and when we need to bring it from this position, suppose A, to position B, we need to apply certain force, and that force is an electrical force, that is electrical force. So now question is how it can be applied on a charge. So once that electrical force is applied, so that means we need to apply external force, and then the charge can be brought near to charge B. So here the question is who provides this force. Now see here, when we apply certain force on this charge and we displace through certain distance, so here force into displacement is equal to work, and this way by applying electrical force we can bring this charge here. But then how exactly it is happening in the system, that we are going to see. So when we talk about voltage, there are two types of things, that is one is electromotive force and another one is potential difference. So what that concept is there, that we are going to see. See here we see that voltage or electrical potential difference, or again it is called as a electrical pressure, that is force per unit charge, or electrical tension, is the difference in electrical potential between 2 points, which in static electric field is defined as the work needed per unit charge to move a test charge between the 2 points. So as we saw, this is A point, this is B point, and we have to apply force, and work is to be done to bring this charge from this point to this point. So let us understand the concept of potential difference, so that we already know. See here shown how charges flow from higher potential to lower potential. For understanding the analogy, we are considering two beakers. So, and here both beakers are now empty. But after some time, when we pour water in this beaker, so naturally what is going to happen, that the beaker will be filled with water. Now observe here that some particles or molecules of water are here and some are here. What is basic difference between them? So see, those who are at bottom, their height h is equal to 0, and at this point height from earth's surface, it is higher. So this height is basically the reason for potential energy, and gravitational force is already acting on the molecules. So now what is happening, the particles at higher level are having higher potential energy, that is P is equal to m into g into h. Now what is happening, that higher the particles above the surface are applying force on the particles below the surface, but as the container is there, so the particles cannot move. But the moment we connect a pipe, and suppose if we allow to water flow through this pipe, you will see that the water will start to flow from higher potential to lower potential, and obviously the water will flow from this beaker to this beaker. Now one important thing, that now at this point both levels are same, that means the potential energy in this beaker is exactly equal to this beaker. So no water molecule can flow from beaker 1 to beaker 2 or beaker 2 to beaker 1. So similarly, remember that if there are two voltage sources of equal potential or equal voltage, then there is no flow of charge or current between them, that is current is 0. So this is what we saw. Now here same case is happening in the battery also. So see here a diagram of lead acid battery is shown. So this is a container, there are two electrodes, basically it is of lead, and it consists of some solution, and one electrode act as an anode and another is acting as a cathode. So how exactly battery is working, that we are going to see. So see in figure, here it is a container in which there are two electrodes. They are connected to wires and they are connected to charging terminal. So remember, to bring or deposit all electrons on one electrode, we need to do work. That work is done by the electric energy which we are going to connect here, and that is concept of charging the battery. So here we are pouring the solution of H2SO4. So now we are connecting one terminal to positive and another terminal to negative to charge the battery. So when current starts to flow, dissociation takes place and positive ions are deposited on one electrode and negative electrons are deposited on another electrode. So that is because of electrical force. Now we can understand that though we see here number of electrons, they are in fact repelling each other, but the solution inside the container is now pure H2O, and pure H2O is bad conductor of electricity. So no electron can be accepted by water molecule and it cannot conduct or it cannot flow from one place to another place. So now the only chance is that when we connect this electrode to another conducting terminal, and if we complete the circuit, then current will or charges will flow. So now we see that we are removing the charging terminal was the battery charged completely, and we are connecting the bulb. So the moment we connect the bulb, what happens? See, now this is conducting wire. It is connected to filament of bulb and another end of filament is connected to battery negative terminal. That means circuit is complete. This is good conductor as well as filament is also conductive, and so these electrons now which are repelling each other, they starts to flow in the direction, and the moment they passes through the bulb, we see the light because of there is a friction and heat energies or light energy is radiated in the form of light. So this way it is happening. So this is basic. So we need a battery. For charging it, we need electrical energy. So during charging, the negative and positive charges are separated. The charges which are deposited on negative charges are deposited on a plate that is called as a negative terminal or cathode, and another is called as a anode. So this is the way we are actually generating the voltage or storing electrical energy in battery. So here it is, this negative is called as a negative terminal of the battery, this is positive terminal of the battery, and whatever circuit we want to get worked, it is connected between these two terminals, and you will see in laboratory we get this kind of power supply. So this power supply is actually not this kind of battery, but here in that AC is converted into DC, that kind of power supply is there. And here you see there it is, this is A, that is arrangement for adjusting the current, here arrangement for adjusting the voltage, and this terminal, positive terminal is shown here by positive red connector and negative terminal is shown by black terminal. So this is what the concept of battery or the voltage. So friends, we now understood that voltage is nothing but force applied on the charge. So that is why we can say voltage or electrical potential difference, electric pressure or electric tension is difference in electric potential between 2 points, which in static electric field is defined as work needed per unit of charge to move a test charge between the 2 points. Now let us talk about the charges. So you should remember that here we see that a charge on an electron. So if we consider one electron, then the charge on one electron is minus 1.6 into 10 raised to minus 19 coulomb. That you should remember. This is the charge on electron. Now suppose we want 1 coulomb charge. So whenever we take 6.241 into 10 raised to 18 electrons, then total charge on these number of electrons is exactly equal to 1 coulomb charge. And now how we relate it to the current flow? So that is important. See, 1 coulomb is equal to the amount of charge from current of 1 ampere flowing per 1 second. That means let us consider this is voltage. Suppose let us consider it is 1 volt. Now we are connecting resistance. Suppose that resistance is equal to 1 ohm. And now we are measuring the current. So how much current will be there? So that is V is equal to I into R. But we know that is I is equal to V upon R. So that is equal to 1 volt divided by 1 ohm. That is equal to exactly 1 ampere. So now understand, when 1 volt is applied to 1 ohm resistance, the current flowing through this is 1 ampere. And what does it mean? That whenever 1 ampere current is flowing in the circuit, means we know that the electrons are actually moving in the circuit. So the 1 coulomb charge is actually moving per second, and we know that 1 coulomb charge means what? That means in 1 second 6.241 into 10 raised to electrons are moving per second. Then we can say the current is 1 ampere. So work done, or say 1 joule, is equal to energy used to accelerate a body with a mass of 1 kilogram using 1 Newton of force over a distance of 1 meter. So why we are considering all those things? See, look here, there it is an electron. We are applying force. Okay, so force needs certain energy. So these relations to understand, here it is, when we apply force, so when we talk about we are applying 1 joule of energy. So what is exactly it means? That if we consider a mass of this body is equal to 1 kilogram, and the force which we are applying, that is 1 Newton, and if the body is accelerating, we are applying this force over a distance of 1 meter, then total energy utilized is 1 joule. So that concept must be clear. So when we talk about what is meant by 1 volt, so voltage, so 1 voltage, that means 1 joule of energy is applied per 1 coulomb. That is a concept of voltage. So far now it is clear that in battery there it is a positive terminal, this is negative terminal. In case of negative terminal, there are large number of electrons which are repelling each other, but there is no conducting path, so they cannot move away from each other. But the moment we connect the complete electrical circuit like this, so we are connecting these kind of connectors as well as resistance. We know that these connectors are good conducting material, and resistance is having less conductance as compared to conductivity as compared to connectors. So these electrons which are repelling, the moment they get conducting path, these electrons starts to flow. Okay, so number of charges are flowing per unit time, that is dq by dt is basically a current in amperes. That is one thing. Second thing is that the current is flowing through this resistance. Resistance is the device which restricts or opposes the flow of current. So here we know that force is being applied on electrons, that is due to voltage, and rate of flow of charge, that is called as a current. So now we talk about resistor.